Alrighty, I think we are now live. It appears that we are going. So today, going to show you 2, maybe more, exercises that you can do at home. I've been playing with these personally to free up some range of motion and get some more stability in my own hips. Contrary to popular belief, I am not already and always in perfect condition. I do have to do things to maintain my body. Before we get started, I also want to give a shout out to the guy I met at the grocery store who saw me at checkout and wanted to tell me that he's a big fan and that my videos have been helping him. I just saw him yesterday and I didn't get your name, but thanks so much for stopping me and letting me know that the videos I make are helping you. It actually does mean a lot to me to know that the work that I do is helping a lot of people out there. So today, one thing to get at your outer hip, one thing to get at your hamstrings and sort of your adductors. And the fuzzy socks are deliberate. So I'm going to show you a couple, how to set this up, and then I'm going to take you through this for a couple minutes. Okay, so first things first, you need to be up against a wall. The angle is something you're going to have to play with. So I know I've got black on black here. I apologize, but hopefully this gives you contrast with the wall so you can see that there's a gap here. I've got my hips at about 90 degrees right here, but you can play with this. You could get yourself deep into a crouch position. You could be more open, whatever you want to do. But what I've been doing recently is also having the foot a little higher than the knee. And then I create this arc like this. So my fuzzy socks allow me to slide on the wall. And I just got to pay attention to knee and foot position. And that's going to get glute med, glute min, working in a very unique, fun little way. Keeping pressure into the wall also fires up some more glute max. Obviously not a ton of pressure, otherwise you won't be able to slide. Another thing to think about here is this top hip. You can play with, you can have it rolled back more, you can have it rolled forward more, and that's also going to change how you activate that hip. And because technology always fails me, I'm just going to check in really quick. Sandy, Nicole, all right, good. Good morning, Sandy. I just want to make sure that people can actually hear me, see me. Sandy, let me know. I can see this chat over here. All right. I hope I see some sort of confirmation that this is working. So again, right here, that's what you're looking for. Now, next exercise. I'm going to get right in against the wall. You don't have to get in this tight. So if you get on the wall and you're like, oh my God, or you try to straighten your knees and your butt lifts up because it's so uncomfortable, move away from the wall, right? Be further, have some distance between your butt and the wall. In terms of legs, you can go just as wide as you want. If it's here, that's fine. If it's wider, that's fine. Whatever you want to do, it's fine. Wherever it feels like, wow, my adductors, my inner thighs are being challenged, cool. So let's just keep it here. I'm going to scooch in for a sec. And a couple things. First of all, just being here might be really uncomfortable for you. If so, great. You can make this even more entertaining by twisting the femurs out and twisting the femurs in. So you can see my toes are trying to point in. You can see there's probably some asymmetry here. Let me just check in. Did you all tell me you can? Yes, you can. All right, good. Everything is working. All right, perfect. So we're here. Rotating. So now I've widened it out. Now, as you're doing this, you want to try to keep things as pure as you can. Meaning, if you're trying to do rotation, you're trying to make it all about the femur rotating without the knee compensating in some way unintentionally, right? So if I'm saying I'm rotating here, I'm paying attention to make sure that the joint that I'm intending to move is the only one that's doing the movement. So in other words, we're watching for compensations or cheats that are trying to hide something. So for me, for example, this left side, as I rotate out, there's a tendency, I can feel one of the hamstrings, it might be an adductor muscle, wanting to bend my knee. So that as it gets tensioned, it goes bam, to try to release that tension. That's called cheating. So I need to pay attention, make sure it does what it's supposed to do. It's going to make that muscle uncomfortable, and I'm going to respect the limit that it's presenting, but I'm going to challenge it a little bit. And then when I come out of it, as I'm trying to come back in, I'm using that muscle, and that muscle is saying, oh my, I don't want to do that. And it might not come through on the camera, but I can feel that muscle struggle as we try to go through it. And then my pelvis tries to move around. Other muscles try to do a quick little shake to make it easier. And again, I want to make sure I'm not cheating, so I'm forcing that muscle to do the work so that it gets better at doing the work it's supposed to do. Now, bonus here, I guess we'll do this in the workout. Bonus here is to then try to lift your foot off the wall and back down. Lift the foot off the wall, back down. There's another bonus to this that I could add, but I'm not going to be that mean today, and this video would turn into a 3-hour marathon, which I don't think anybody has the time for. So we've got our two things. One is going to be lying down on the side, getting this arc. Okay, if you want to, you can do what I've been playing with, which is knee lower than the foot and getting that arc. I really want to throw another bonus at you. I'll leave it as a surprise for you. Then the second exercise is going to be the V. Okay, we're going to work on bringing things as wide as is comfortable and doable. We're going to do those rotations and then gradually widen out. And then I'm going to add that third one at the end, which won't require too much. So let's actually just do it because we're all busy. So let's just make this happen. So I'm going to have us working for 1 minute, 20-second rests. You're going to lie on your side. Get into whatever level of crouch, squat, whatever you want to call it. And let's get started. So top leg, it's going to be arcing up. Keep a little bit of pressure on the wall. You're going to feel the outer hip working here. Really explore how far you can go while feeling that contraction in the right spots. When I first started playing with these, and still now, I could feel my low back and my pelvis wanting to dump as I was getting further and further into abduction. Likely because that was the position I was kind of stabilizing / resting in while sitting on a surfboard for hours at a time. So I'm trying to reprogram that and make sure that I have really good conscious control over the hip muscles separate from the spinal muscles. All right, that was already 1 minute. We can switch sides. And don't be surprised if this side is very different from the side you just did. So let's start. So a little bit of pressure as you slide. Open it up. Feel that outer hip working. You can play around with how much your knee is bent as well. There's no wrong position you could do here. The only wrong position is the one your body is telling you is not okay. Like if you're feeling pain as you go to a certain position, you probably shouldn't be forcing that. If you're feeling fatigue or the kind of like muscle burn pain, that's fine. But if you're talking about jamming or something awful, you're in the wrong place. Okay, so right here I'm finding a spot that's really weak, and I can just hang out here a little bit. It's just this specific angle. All right. So we're gonna go back to do it again. And then we'll move on to that second exercise. So we're bringing it up. I think this time I'm going to bring my top hip a little more forward. It can be helpful to just reach forward with my shoulder as well, my arm, and just force myself into that rotation. Oh yeah, so that's burning a lot. Play with this knee bend. So some reasons you might want to play with the knee bend. If you're trying to get stable and secure in a deep squat position, that requires deep knee flexion, deep hip flexion. So getting in tight and being able to use your hip muscles is important for that. And go ahead and rest. And you want to play with all the different angles that you would go through in the squat, right? So there's different levels of knee and hip flexion that need to be stable and secure. It's hard to just train that directly with the squat. Sometimes you need a little assistance and isolation. And let's start. You need to isolate the angle for the knee, isolate the angle for the hip, and then give the muscles a chance to be there, work there, be strong there, so that when you're doing the squat more dynamically, you're actually moving through those angles, it feels comfortable. And basically feels like you don't have to think about it because those muscles already know how to work in that position. Right now, I don't know if you can see, but I'm just gliding on the ball of my foot and toes. So you don't have to have your foot flat on the wall. It's totally cool to play around. Different little angles here. If you're a dancer or an acrobat, this kind of stuff can really help you fine-tune, figure out what's weak and what's not helping you the way it's supposed to. All right, so that's that side. Then let's get into the wall. Get to wherever you can be. If this is already a stretch, that's cool. You can just hang out here. You're going to slowly add some rotations. Thinking about isolating the motion to the hip joints. So that rotation is happening from the femurs turning. If you want to use your hands too, you could help to get the right feel. The knees are not going to cheat. So you're just going back and forth like that. If you're feeling like these, I like to describe them as wood, especially when you first start doing anything with these muscles. They can feel like wood, they can feel a little dead. If they start to feel a little more like meat, like normal, like you're getting sensation, that's great. You can see if you can widen things out a little bit. Let's take 20 seconds rest. You can use your hands, bring them in, breathe a little bit. If you got pulsing in there, cool, those muscles are working. Then you're gonna come back out to the sides, see if you can go a little bit further, if it's available. No need to force it. And do those rotations again. Maybe helpful to focus some pressure into your heels against the wall. That activates some of the hamstrings, activates, yeah, not really, I mean, it should maybe do a little bit of glutes, but anyway, hamstrings for sure, which can help the femurs feel more stable. It can help the rotation feel better. When your hamstrings are just dead and not participating because you sit on them all day, your hip rotation can be crappy. Ask me how I know. All right. And I'm going to add another variation to this after this little rest here. And then we're going to pull back in here. So 20 seconds of rest. So we've got our rotations going. Next one is going to be those lifts. Okay. So we're going out. You don't have to go aggressive on this one. If you don't want to do this one, that's fine, but we're going to be lifting. 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax it. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax it. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other side. So you should feel this in the front of your hip, your quads, hip flexor area. And switch. Using your quads in a way you probably never do. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, we're out of time on that one. Let's do this side 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, well that gives us time. Go ahead and come on back. That gives us time to go over the third little bonus thing that I was working with last night, which you might also find fun. So it's a variation of the first exercise, but instead of having the knee bent in like this and arcing, you're going to straighten out the leg. I find, for me, the massive bang for the buck is having this top hip pulled back behind the bottom hip, because this is part of like a dance thing that I'm trying to get better at. So basically, you're here and you're pulling that leg all the way up and down. Pelvis is isolated in position, it's locked in position, and you're sweeping up the wall. Pretty much the same thing that we were doing earlier, but you're going to feel it's working a whole different set of things in here, different muscle fibers. Also, I want to make sure you understand the reason I have this pulled back is to get more adduction on this hip. So now I'm trying to get it to cross the midline and then be strong enough to pull out of that adducted position. Be mindful about this. If you get like popping or snapping or it feels like it's pinching and jamming, just don't try to push it too hard, too far. Okay, so just go to where you can get and then gradually let it settle deeper. All right, so here we go. We're gonna lift up. 1 minute on this side. This one has been pretty interesting for me. I've been playing with variations. Kind of gets at SI joint type stuff. So adding some stability, building the muscle, tendinous, whatever stuff that can help stabilize the SI joint. in order to force those muscles to work, I find I got to get way into adduction. Also, you can add more hip flexion. The lesson I hope you're getting from all of these is that a little exploration is a good thing. You can even try adding some twist. Okay, and other side. And I know I'm doing this with 20-second rests, but if you have a strong opinion about that being too short, please let me know. All right, here we go. I'm trying to keep pace with the modern world, but there is a chance 20 seconds is just too fast. So if it is, let me know. I can adjust that very easily for future videos. Playing around with 20, 25, 30 seconds. What's the right answer? Who knows? All right, I'm gonna go more into that and add a little more twist. Really get into that glute. And a little pressure down in there. Feeling gratitude for the fuzzy socks. All right, and that was our little bonus. So that one I find fun just because it's almost like you're dancing on the wall, right? You can also play with different angles on this. I can be more upright, work on, you know, just little swipes and slides. You can have a little fun while you're down there. I'm not going to judge you. In fact, I will encourage it. So I'm just going to check in real quick with the Q&A and see if there's anything interesting to note. Let's see. Sandy, yeah, you definitely need to find some wall space. Hello, no dancing palm trees in Vayu. Thanks so much. This is the #1 golden channel, I believe. I believe that's true. And Jan, yep. Thanks for watching and absorbing some of what I have to say. I hope it continues to be helpful for you. And Nancy, I need modifications as I'm in a wheelchair. That is definitely true. You know, I do get questions about how to modify things if you're in a wheelchair. This, I don't know how you would modify. Upper body things I know how to modify, but this I'm not sure what to do. My heart does go out to you, and you know, if you can find somebody who's in your local area who can get to know your specific limitations and you know what puts you in the wheelchair, then they can probably craft something that would be more appropriate and like more workable for you, especially for the hip stuff. But you know, if you can, you actually could use elastic bands, training bands, and that would probably work if you need help putting them on, get help putting them on, and then you could just simply start abducting. But yeah, looks like that's it. So if you, yeah, if you're new here, welcome. And I am planning on doing more live streams in the future, so just make sure you are subscribed and you'll get notified of those things. I think I'm drifting more towards doing these types of live classes, and so I hope they're helpful for you. I posted something in YouTube community to ask for specific topics or ideas or content that you think you would find most helpful. So if you can go on the YouTube community section and answer that so I can see that, that would be really helpful. If you want to support this direction of the channel, I would appreciate it if you find me on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/uprighthealth and you know, make a pledge. I really appreciate your support. Helps me make these videos and lets me know that there's a need, a desire, and yeah, that this is resonating with somebody. So, and of course, if you see me out in public, let me know that you appreciate the videos. It really helps. And Upstart 21T, I'm very glad my advice changed your life. That is why I'm here. I really, I feel good seeing words like that. I'm always trying to talk to the old me who is suffering, the current me who might still experience suffering, and to all of you who might also be experiencing that suffering. So I'm very glad to know that I'm helping, and I appreciate all your support. Thanks so much. And yeah, I'm also considering changing how I end my videos. So I'm thinking something along the lines of turn your problems into power. So let's try that out today. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.